So today,
We have a baby.
I have a baby. We do not.
Yeah.
Welcome back to an episode.
Another
Couldn't
episode.
tell you where.
I think it's episode 20.
That's huge.
That's huge.
We probably should have, one, muted my phone, your phone.
It was
Two,
yours.
we probably should have skipped this week, not last week.
Yep, because
Yeah,
it is
since
a
this is a
holiday
holiday.
today.
Yeah.
It is in America. If you watch from outside the country, we are celebrating Labor Day today in the United States. And for some reason, this baby keeps on staring at me. And okay, finally she's done. It's kind of making me,
Slaba.
This week we had a lot going on. Of course we had last Sunday, and then last Monday we took the day off of recording this, but we were still busy. We had a guest speaker this weekend at church, and so getting ready for that is always fun because he's not always here to talk about what he's going to talk about on the weekend. And so it's kind of sometimes a surprise. But then we had Jackson football on Friday.
Sure did.
Grayson served at that. I did not. I got to go and watch, and I think that is the best. I think that's the second best game I've ever watched at the Pit. The first was in 2014, I believe. Jackson played Poplar Bluff, and it was
That's
in a
always a
district
fun game to watch when
Yep.
they play them. Sometimes it's like you need to chill out.
Saturday. Saturday was resting, but it was busy. I mean, it felt busy.
Plus a funeral this week, plus an
Yep.
all-day staff meeting thing.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been a lot. And a kid that, yeah, I'm about to get mad at you. Yeah, she's been a handful.
Mm-hmm.
Just one handful, not two. Let go.
But she's doing really
let go.
good now.
Yeah, she's doing okay. Mom will definitely grab her here in about 10 minutes. Won't take. It's all for the views. So
Today,
we can first say you can like, subscribe, and share if you're led to.
yes.
Today.
Today, I kind of want to break down a little bit of what we talked about over the weekend on Sunday, and what we talked about last night at 4-1, and what came to my mind earlier as we were trying to figure out what we were going to talk about. And I think that we discussed this either at the gym this morning or did I say this last night?
Last night.
Last night. Cool. I said this last night. I said I wanted to talk about Jesus over preferences. The message that we had over the weekend was talking about all the things in society that are leaning away from God that we need to remove from our lives.
Right. Had God in them.
Yep.
And now-
At one point.
Yeah.
Or even they still may have a remnant of it, but it's not what it should be, so we should remove them. Pastor Terrell, he talked about media, talked about government, he talked about
School.
church, family, and the market.
The market.
Yes.
Good job. I didn't remember that.
And specific, like I want to talk about specifically media, because that one's an easy one that can be just completely removed if it's wrong. We fill our time and we put into our mind all the time things that are not of God. I mean, I find myself scrolling through YouTube Shorts because I refuse to have TikTok. Scrolling through that, and it's nonsense, and most of the time it's just things that I don't need in my mind.
I will say my wife would be proud of me because I feel like most men, it's always women on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not going to say there's none because, like, they still know you're a guy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more shirtless men now that are super strong.
Yep.
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I see a lot of Tom Platts,
I don't.
which Tom Platts
No,
isn't necessarily bad.
That is.
Tom Platts, he was... Tom Platts was really well known for his legs. He's a bodybuilder.
Where you going? Huh? Where you going?
She's flying.
Where you going? Where you going?
But a lot of the times, like I'll see, like it's Reddit threads that just go so far beyond what I'm comfortable with. But like, I've already watched 10 seconds of it before it gets there, so it's going to continue to give me stuff similar to that. And I've gotten to the point before where I just quit watching shorts of any kind in general, and I'm about there again. I'm about to where I just delete all my social medias again, and like I said, quit watching shorts and just watch like strictly things that are beneficial for me, and that's what we should be doing.
Yeah, I'm definitely not on social media as much as I was. Rarely. Like I have post notifications on for a few things on Instagram, like shoe related.
Mhm.
Like if something's coming out. I'm on Facebook more than anything, which is weird to me. But I think that's more so like, not to like care, but that also sounds bad. But like it's more of a connecting thing, right? Like I can see things about other people, like oh they're having a baby, oh they're getting married, or whatever, and it's more interesting, or it's more oh that's awesome versus just a waste of my time.
Yeah,
even though
Facebook
it still seems like a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's still like I know these people and I still care about them even though I don't see them as much.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's awesome to see their life and if they're they're killing life.
Yeah.
But yeah, the randomness or whatever, I don't look at it much. I mean, sometimes I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't scroll, but
yeah, Facebook has become a lot like it's not just people posting pictures for the most part.
Something I heard a long time ago is a lot of people know where their social media apps on their phone. They could probably like shut their eyes and scroll like 2 pages and they know it's the second row and they could probably just tap it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Holy Bible app, would you know where that's at on your phone?
That's good.
That is good.
And
in the moment when I heard that, I had no clue.
Yeah.
Like I'd have to like scroll up and miss it and find it.
Mm-hmm. I think like all of my stuff is in groups on my screen. And so I think if it weren't, I could get it, but it's in a group of like the band app and the
like
services app. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I could get there. I don't know where my Instagram and Facebook are because I don't have them on my main page. They're like, I have to scroll over into all my apps and find it. Baby's going crazy. But another form of media that people don't always talk about is, of course, music. So like secular music is right now becoming just absolutely terrible, especially the people that are really famous. Like I saw something the other day. There's 2 people in the room right now. Do either of you listen to Doja Cat?
I've heard the name. I don't know.
Did she just put out a song about demons?
I didn't even know it was a female. So
okay, I think I saw something about it, and I think she did. And she's like crazy popular right now. Like a lot of her songs are the songs that are used for TikToks and YouTube Shorts. Of course, like Lil Nas X, he had the video.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. He had shoes a couple years ago.
Yep.
That were like Satan shoes.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it was crazy.
He had blood in them. And then he had like Sam Smith has had multiple concerts where he's dressing up as the devil and having rituals basically for Satan. And I don't know if they're doing it for show, just like, ha, this is really funny. Like, this is going to get me the most views. Or if they're truly leaning that way toward a Satanist lifestyle. But regardless, right? We shouldn't be we shouldn't be putting that into our ears, into our minds, because it's not of God.
It's definitely gotten worse too.
It has.
Rap was definitely the thing I listened to. It wasn't good, but it has changed a lot. Kind of like Terrell said, you gave 3 examples of what secular music is now, and it was, I don't know the exact 3 words he said, but like what comes to my head is sex, murder, and violence, or drugs, or which
like sex, money, drugs.
Yeah, like the drugs thing.
A lot of it is.
I feel like it's always been talked about that. The women thing, it always has been, but like it's at a very different level now as well.
And something we have to watch with music is the fact that music is so easily memorizable. I didn't get that. Wow. So we can read the Bible all we want, But if we listen to a song, more than likely we will remember the words to that song more than we'll remember the scripture that we read, because something about putting words to a melodic line makes it
That's
more
a big
simple
word to
for
me.
our brain to be like, oh, I can know that. Like, I can memorize that. So I've gotten to the point now where I only listen to worship music. I do not turn on CCM. I don't turn on contemporary Christian, just because I don't get anything from it really. It's a lot of people's like own experiences in their life, and I get that's what a lot of songs are like. But I like to fill my music time with songs that are just glorifying God for who He is, rather than what He's done.
Yeah, it's really funny to watch your step, not your in particular, just in general, steps of faith. Because I think everybody's first step of faith is, not first step, but when it comes to music, is like contemporary radio Christian. And the next level is typically stuff that you'd never really hear on
On the radio.
I want to say specific radio stations because that's all I know. But
well, we have one here in our area,
and I'm not downing that at
Yeah.
all. Like they're doing, like they're
Yes.
good. They actually play newer things than most probably do.
They are a ministry in themselves, and,
Yeah.
and they do a good job. They just play a lot of the same songs.
Right, which I understand. I get it. And they do play newer songs. They play Maverick City, like stuff that I do listen to. But there's like a group of people, which comes to my mind is like your Jeremy Camp, your David Crowder,
Matthew West.
Yeah, which are all great people. They're all great singers, whatever. But there's a whole different level of spirituality when you look at groups.
Yeah.
And most of the groups are churches, which like I didn't know in the beginning of me listening to either. I just thought they were bands, you know. I'd say there's only two independent artists that I really listen to, and that's Brandon Lake and Phil Wickham, which they're not really independent, but they're just
Phil
with
Wickham at this point is.
It is, but Brandon Lake is just like with every group.
Yeah,
that's good.
And he just happens to release music.
And Phil Wickham is on tour with Brandon Lake. I'm like, you're a smart guy. But Phil Wickham, in the beginning, in my opinion, was a radio singer.
He was, yep.
So I feel like his faith has probably grown. And I'd like to, obviously I can't give him a call,
right?
But I'd like to know that.
Yeah.
Like, has something changed? Or has he just made those connections and it's deepened his faith, or it's deepened his, I don't know if he writes most of his songs.
Right.
But even like the song Back to Life, his new album, he has that on there. So I wonder if he wrote that for someone else.
Right.
And then finally just released it himself. And just, I don't know. I've been wondering certain things with him. Like if something changed.
I don't necessarily know if it's a faith thing or if it's just like what they're comfortable writing. Because like I said, a lot of contemporary Christian is life experiences.
Right.
And so they're just writing about their life, which I mean, a country artist writes about that. A pop artist writes about that. They're just writing it with their Christian life.
Yeah.
Which, all props to them. But to then go into scripture and take almost all your life out of it and just talk about Jesus through scripture, that I have found, right? That's difficult. I've written 2 songs that I am still not comfortable with releasing because of just how difficult it is to write based on scripture without putting like my own experiences in it, because I just want to write a song that glorifies God for who He is.
Yeah, I will say Stephen Furtick can kill it. I think a lot of people give him a hard time, but definitely has a spiritual gift in that sense.
He does. I've always wondered how much heart he has
yeah.
in writing it, but he's on it. Like he's on.
But even that part that I showed you where it was like Yahweh, we love you.
Yep.
Like that just like hit him.
It did. Yeah.
In that moment, and that was like epic. And that'd be a dope verse in a song. And like he hasn't even used it. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on you to do that, but whatever.
Another form of media, I think this is the last one we'll cover, is of course movies, videos.
That's a hard one for me. Now, if it's like a very sexual, I don't want to really watch it anyway. When it comes to language, it's working on me more so now than it used to.
Mm-hmm.
The only word that really used to bother me was GD. Like if it said that over and over and over and over, I was just like, I can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Like Oppenheimer came out not too long ago, and a lot of people have talked about how good of a movie it is. And I heard that there was a nudity scene in it. And I was talking to one of the guys on the worship team. He had gone and seen it, and he was talking to me about how good it is. I was like, it has nudity in it, right? He said, yeah, but it's like really short. And I said, I can't, like I can't do that. I mean, I have a wife. I would likely be watching that without my wife because she wouldn't like that kind of movie.
Right.
And just looking at a naked woman, if it's a woman or even if it's a man, right? My wife doesn't want my eyes to see that. And so out of respect to my wife and out of respect or to keep myself above reproach, I'm not going to do that because seeing that naked woman, yes, it may not do anything to me, but it could.
It's almost an all or nothing. Either you watch them all or you don't. Because I mean, yes, I agree with your point there. But then there's also where it's like, oh, there's no nudity, but she's in lingerie, and it's like, it's really the same thing. Mm-hmm. It might be worse because then you're wondering
what's underneath,
right? Yeah. Versus, I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I mean, I don't. Both bad, but it's almost like you think about it more when it is just undergarment.
Yeah, and it's so difficult because, I mean, of course, any R-rated movie is likely going to have nudity in it at this point. When before it had to be rated MA for it to have nudity, like any R-rated movie.
They don't even have MA movie. Like I haven't ever seen a movie, but I haven't ever heard of like a movie that's MA like in theaters, and I know that they have the rating and everything.
The only thing I may think is MA is, well, I don't even know anymore, but like the scary movies. Like I don't know if the Insidious movies or the Conjuring movies are MA anymore. What was that one movie?
Like 50 Shades of Grey.
Was that MA?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's R, but I've never seen it. But I'm just, has to be pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard some bad things about it.
So I'm just like, what is considered MA at this point? Because like that is basically a sex movie. And it's R. So I'm just like, what level do you have to take this to?
Yeah. But I mean, even like yesterday, Terrell, he was talking about I don't know the name for it, but like where they're starting to teach about sex in schools, and he said what ages like 15 to 18 they're starting to teach that pornography is an enhancement to your sex life, and you don't even have to get at this point. You don't even have to go on a porn website to watch porn. You can turn on Netflix and find a movie, and it's there for you.
What's crazy is even back in the day, like certain shows at like 11 o'clock would just like change into like sexual movies, you know, as a kid.
Yep.
And I never watched it. Like I always thought about it, but I was like nervous or like always got that weird feeling. Maybe that could be God. Maybe that could be my stepdad's going to break my neck if he walks in and sees this. So yes, it's probably gotten worse, but it's always been there.
Yeah.
It's just enhanced.
I think
easier.
It's like soap operas that we never watch because we're doing stuff, right? When soap operas are on. But I remember one day we were at the Mexican restaurant and they had a Mexican soap opera on, and it was like full on, just like blown out. They had clothes on, or maybe I don't know. They were underneath the covers, but you could clearly see that they were having sex, and that's just on in a Mexican restaurant at noon. Like, I know we have stuff in America on the soap operas that are on TV that are also similar to that, where they make you think, like, oh, I wonder, like you said, I wonder what they look like under that. And we have to be so careful as Christians because of all this, what we allow ourselves to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I know there are Christian stations, Christian TV stations, Christian streaming services that you can fill your time with that. But there's not just an endless supply of things on there. And some of the stuff on there is not in line with the Bible. They may say that they're Christian, but they're not in line with every biblical value. And so you also have to watch that. That's so almost harder. Difficult.
That's almost harder.
Yep.
At least I know, hey, this is wrong.
And
I feel bad. I'll fast forward through this part.
Yes.
Not saying that's right, but thinking something's true and listening to that, and then your beliefs get altered. That's scary.
Yep. And then, of course, like you said, we have to watch the language. I mean, I was watching, my wife and I, we watched the movie about George Foreman last week. The
Like
boxer.
the grill? Oh.
Okay, this is the problem with society. He knows one of the greatest boxers of all time for his grill that he bought stock in more than he knows about the boxer himself. Okay, George Foreman was he beat the man who took the belt from Muhammad Ali.
Wow, really?
Yes, Muhammad Ali then beat George Foreman, but then George Foreman, after taking like 14 years off from boxing, when he became a pastor, went back to boxing because he lost all of his money, and he won the championship again.
Wow. Yeah, I have a George Foreman, though.
I don't know if I do.
It's like the one that sits on your counter.
Mm-hmm. But that's actually really funny because he doesn't even own them. Like he sold all his stock in that.
Really?
Yeah, they just still use his name because it's a name. But it's very funny that you know.
I bet there's a lot of people that don't know that.
Yes, if you're watching right now, the movie's great, but it has cuss words in it, and it's so difficult to avoid it. Like you can watch a PG-13 movie and it's guaranteed to have cussing in it.
You get one F-bomb, I think, in a PG movie.
You watch a PG
and you
movie
know
nowadays?
That F-bomb is going to be used, but I will say, when I was unchristian, I looked at this a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked forward to that one F word because I knew in a 2-hour movie, they were going to place that in the best place possible in this movie. So I always looked for that. Now I don't care as much, but it was pretty funny.
Oh, man.
Because it's true, right? They're not just going to like have a small argument and then just say it. Like it's going to be the most perfect, funny time in this entire 2-hour movie. So that's pretty...
So, I said PG-13, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go down to PG, and nowadays, like, let's look at Disney. In almost every one of their movies, they have a gay couple, a person struggling with their identity, with their gender, and those in themselves are against the Bible and against the values of the Bible and against God. And so we're down to watching G-rated movies that they probably don't even make anymore.
But they still probably have their hint of it's a cartoon and, this guy and guy is really close, or might not come out and say it, but still just little hints. Like even kids shows have weird stuff like that. From what I've heard, I don't watch them. I
mean, like there are so many, like a lot of the pastors here at the church, they didn't let their kids watch like the Harry Potter movies. Or like the Disney show Wizards of Waverly Place because it had to do with
Harry
witchcraft.
Potter.
I almost wish, because I do enjoy the movies, that my parents didn't let me because it is strictly going against the values of God. But like I said, I enjoy the movies, and I think that's what's supposed to happen. Right? We are supposed to enjoy the things that are of the world because that's what Satan wants. And he is trying his hardest to make us enjoy this stuff. We have to get to the point, though, where even though we enjoy it, if we realize it's bad, we got to cut it out.
Yeah. He mentioned Plugged In Online, which I've heard of before because my grandma has used that like her whole life. Mm-hmm. It's a very cool site just to see. I think Hannah actually uses it now, just like for her own self.
That's awesome.
To know like what's going on in a show or a movie or whatever. It's pretty cool.
I don't think you gotta worry about the doodle bops though.
I can't stand it. I can't. It's the worst. They can't even sing.
They can't even.
And it's about singing. They're a band.
Watching them like play their instruments is the funniest thing ever.
It's bad. She watches Barney. It gets kind of old after about 6 episodes. Dora, never liked it. I'm just going to make her watch Drake and Josh. Or Ned's Declassified.
Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
Yes.
One of the best shows of all time.
Ben 10.
I wasn't on Cartoon Network that much.
Oh, there was this one. It was a African American. He was like a superhero. It was a cartoon. It was like something thunder or lightning, blue. I don't know. Static Shock. You've probably never heard of it, but it was epic. Bro, it was awesome.
Teen Titans. I watched Teen Titans.
Yeah, that was pretty good. A lot of people watched That's So Raven. I didn't really get into it.
I didn't either. It was a little bit before my time.
Zoe 101.
Zoe 101 was where it's at, man.
Mm-hmm. Hannah Montana.
Yep, it was good.
It was good. It was great.
See, these are the shows we grew up with, and thinking
and
back, they're not bad.
They're not that bad.
No.
Like the worst thing that like about Drake and Josh is like they get in trouble like with school stuff because they like do pranks or what's it called, vandalize something or it's just like stuff everybody has done.
But nowadays, like the baby shows is pretty much. I mean, of course, I don't watch a lot of like the Disney Junior shows or the shows that are on Nickelodeon anymore. Full House, yeah.
Yep.
So, what do we do then? How can we avoid these things, realistically? A bit of advice that a lot of people don't want to hear is just to get off social media. Like I said, a lot of the popular songs nowadays, the popular pop songs, have to do with, of course, things that are not of God. Have to do with the sex, money, drugs, things of Satan, or, like you said, murder. If we just completely eliminate seeing those or hearing those, that will help. Because it's like if a song is talking about sex, right? Instead of the thing about the melodic line, then if we're thinking about that song, we say the lyrics, or we sing the lyrics, we think about the lyrics, and then automatically we're to the point where thinking about sex.
Something the pastor said yesterday was a lot of people say it's because of the beat of the music, which in my head that's what I thought too. As I got older, I enjoyed the lyrics, like it didn't bother me at the time. But whenever I did become a Christian and tried listening to Christian rap, that's when I realized it wasn't the lyric, or it wasn't the beat, because I could not stand it. Just no. Yep. Christian rap is not as entertaining. Not as entertaining.
Yeah.
Maybe some decent songs.
I listened to
not as entertaining.
I listened to a lot of Tech Nine, and I know he's not the biggest dude. Like not everyone knows about Tech Nine, but like there were just some songs by Tech Nine that just like slapped. And like you said, no Christian, like Lecrae, I'm sorry. I love your songs. I love the lyrics that you put in your songs.
It just don't hit.
It's not Tech Nine.
It doesn't hit.
But like I said, you can get rid of social media. Andy Mineo,
you are not Lil Wayne. Like it just doesn't compare.
Oh man, Andy Mineo's. I think a more fair comparison would be,
Mac Miller.
Yeah, he's not Mac Miller.
No.
But like I said, we can get rid of social media, and then you can really pay attention to what like shows you're watching, what movies you're watching. Really pay attention to the rating. And okay, this is something I realized not too long ago.
Are you watching any shows right now?
Phineas and Ferb and Mighty Med. Dead serious.
I don't know what Mighty Med is, but that's
you know what Mighty Med is?
Men?
Mighty Med.
Med?
Yeah. It was a Disney XD show where these two boys are working, like they go to a hospital and they go to the secret room and it's like superheroes. Huh. And those are the shows that like Taylor and I are watching. She watches Grey's Anatomy. I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm watching something right now. I'm not going to mention it. It's not horrible.
Yeah.
They do say GD once, like every other episode. Don't like it. It is a really good show. No nudity, at least as of now.
When Chosen Season 3 drops on Baby.
Chosen Series 3. I forgot where I left Season off 3. On it.
Yeah.
But I need to pick that back up. Isn't it on Netflix now?
Chosen, maybe.
No, my baby's crying.
But
it's been 30 minutes. Wrap it up.
I was saying on Netflix, I found that they're hiding their rating. It's very small, and it's in like the top right corner or top left corner, and it's so difficult to see. And so when you're going through things, you're not necessarily like, it's not just like R rated out there in bold font. Like you have to search for it. And
and like TV really shows are hard too, because like used to I didn't know what TVMA meant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like because I was used to PG-13 and R and whatever, so I was like whatever. But I don't know what. Probably because most of them are TVMA. I don't know what's under that. Like I don't know what other ratings are for that. Like the Flash, it's probably not TVMA. So I don't know what it is.
I know there's like TV 14, TV PG, but I don't know what's in between 14 and MA.
Yeah. Well,
I don't really watch that many shows.
B. What's the word? Something to what you're watching. Cautious?
Yeah, be cautious. And choose, like I said at the beginning of the episode, what we would be talking about today is Jesus over preferences. Your preference may be to watch a show that's got cuss words in it, to watch a show that may have a little bit of nudity, a little bit of a little bit of a frisky scene in it. But we have to remember, we have to stay above reproach, and we have to make sure that everything we're doing is glorifying God as Christians. And I've heard this said a lot. I don't want to be found, like when Jesus comes back, I don't want to be found doing something that is not of God.
That's good.
And it could happen at any moment of any day.
I think that is a great way to answer your caution.
Mm-hmm.
If he came down, would I do this? Or a lot of people say, if he was right next to me, would I be doing this? Well, he is.
Yep.
I think sometimes we forget that, even if like during the anger or the frustration or whatever, it's like if God came down right now, that would not matter. Any of it. So that's good.
Yep.
Well, I think this was episode 20. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed seeing my 4.5-month-old baby who is crying in the other room. She's almost 5 months old, actually, in 6 days.
Oh, my goodness.
That's nuts. This last month went crazy fast. It feels like Sunday every day, just about.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys.
Love y'all.
Yes. We will see you all next week for episode 21, hopefully. Hopefully it's 21 and not 22.
Hopefully. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.